Assalamu alaikum. Hello students. Today I shall discuss about some charts that are very important for your written exam. But before starting that, I will repeat a little bit from sodium homeostasis. Sodium homeostasis consists of 4 parts. Number 1, total body sodium content. Number 2, distribution of this sodium in body fluid. Number 3, balance of sodium in the body. And number 4, body sodium regulation. First come the body sodium content. There are about 3500 to 4500 millimole of sodium in a 70 kg adult male. And this total sodium is distributed in our body in both extracellular fluid and intracellular fluid. As sodium is the major cation of extracellular fluid, so majority of this sodium is found in the ECF, that is about more than or equal to 90% of sodium is present in ECF, and only less than or equal to 10% sodium distributed in intracellular fluid or ICF. Now, how this sodium is balanced in our body? We know that balance comes when there is intake equal to output or excretion. In our body, per day sodium intake is 100 to 200 millimole, and this sodium is taken by through foods, drinks, added salts, etc. And this sodium is excreted from our body same to intake, that is 100 to 200 millimole per day through different routes like urine, feces, sweat, among which urinary route is the major route of sodium excretion from our body. Now, how this sodium is regulated in our body? Since most of the body sodium lies in extracellular fluid, so extracellular fluid volume is regulated as the direct function of body sodium content. Although body has no sensor to recognize the body sodium status directly, body can sense it indirectly by sensing the extracellular fluid volume status through baroreceptors. Recognition of sodium status through baroreceptors signals the kidney through various mechanisms to retain salt and water in sodium deficit or decreased ECF volume, or to excrete salt and water in sodium deficit or in increased ECF volume. Therefore, body regulates sodium balance, that means ECF volume, through afferent and efferent limbs. Now come to the point, what is afferent limb? It is also called sensor or sensing mechanism of the body. Baroreceptors present in the atria, carotid sinus, aortic arch, great veins and afferent arteriole of kidney act as afferent limb. These baroreceptors are stimulated by hypervolemia, that means increased body sodium content, and inhibited by hypovolemia, that means decreased body sodium content. Here we have to mention that hypervolemia means increased body fluid. As body fluid is directly related with body sodium, so in case of increased body fluid, that means hypervolemia, there is also increase in body sodium content. Similarly, hypovolemia means decreased body fluid, and decreased body fluid also related with decreased body sodium content. Now come the efferent limb or effector organ. Kidney acts as effector organ to respond to the volume status, that means body sodium content, by renal regular sodium chloride retention or excretion and its regulation. Now come how our body regulates when there is excess intake of sodium chloride. Following excess intake of sodium chloride, hypervolemia develops, which stimulates the baroreceptors. Stimulated baroreceptor cause inhibition of sympathetic nervous system and renin-angiotensin-aldosterone system, but it increases the secretion of atrial natriuretic peptide from heart. Sympathetic inhibition causes decreased catecholamine release, decreased sodium chloride reabsorption, renal vasodilatation, and increased glomerular filtration rate, leading to aldosterone escape. Inhibition of renin-angiotensin-aldosterone system causes decreased production of renin, angiotensin II, and aldosterone. All these events finally cause decreased renal sodium chloride reabsorption that leads to salt and water excretion to cause normovolemia by number 1, decreased catecholamine secretion, increased atrial natriuretic peptide secretion, decreased aldosterone production, decreased angiotensin II production, increased glomerular filtration rate, and aldosterone escape. Now come the chart that is very important for your written exam. Here we see the biochemical events of sodium balance following excess sodium chloride intake. Increased sodium chloride intake causes hypervolemia, which activates three mechanisms. First, stimulate the baroreceptor. This baroreceptor at first causes inhibition of sympathetic nervous system, then cause inhibition of renin-angiotensin-aldosterone system, but increased atrial natriuretic peptide release from heart. Renin-angiotensin-aldosterone system when inhibited, then it causes decreased production of renin, which also cause decreased production of angiotensin II, which also cause decreased production of aldosterone, leads to salt and water excretion. Again, sympathetic nervous system inhibition causes increased glomerular filtration rate, which causes aldosterone escape, which also cause salt and water excretion. And on the other hand, atrial natriuretic peptide increased, which also causes salt and water excretion. All the three mechanisms together causes salt and water excretion, and then again ECF volume becomes normal. This is how our body regulates when there is excess sodium chloride in our body by excreting the excess amount of salt and water and making the ECF volume normal. Now we see what happens when there is reduced intake of sodium chloride. Following reduced intake of sodium chloride, hypovolemia develops, which inhibits the baroreceptors. Inhibited baroreceptor causes stimulation of sympathetic nervous system and renin-angiotensin-aldosterone system, but decrease the secretion of atrial natriuretic peptide from heart. Sympathetic stimulation causes increased catecholamine release, increased sodium chloride reabsorption, renal vasoconstriction, and decreased glomerular filtration rate, leading to failure of aldosterone escape. Stimulation of renin-angiotensin-aldosterone system causes increased production of renin, angiotensin II, and aldosterone. All these events finally causes increased renal sodium chloride reabsorption, leading to salt and water retention to cause normovolemia by number 1, increased catecholamine, decreased atrial natriuretic peptide secretion, increased production of aldosterone, which leads to increased angiotensin II production, causing decreased glomerular filtration rate and failure of aldosterone escape. Here are the biochemical events of sodium balance occurring: decreased sodium chloride intake. You see that here reverse things are occur that are previously occurring when there was increased sodium chloride intake. The chart is just reverse. Decreased sodium chloride intake causing hypovolemia, which causes inhibition of baroreceptor. Inhibition of baroreceptor activates 3 mechanisms. Number 1, stimulation of sympathetic nervous system. Number 2, stimulation of renin-angiotensin-aldosterone system, but decrease atrial natriuretic peptide release from heart. Stimulation of renin-angiotensin-aldosterone system causes increased renin production, which causes increased angiotensin II production, which ultimately causes increased aldosterone secretion, leading to salt and water retention. On the other hand, sympathetic nervous system stimulation causes decreased glomerular filtration rate, so there is no aldosterone escape, resulting salt and water retention. Again, as atrial natriuretic peptide from heart is also decreased, it also causes salt and water retention. So we see that all the 3 mechanisms together causes salt and water retention, so maintaining the normal ECF volume. This is how our body sodium is regulated or balanced when there is decreased sodium chloride intake. These both charts are very important for your written question. Now come the function of sodium. As we know, sodium is the major cation of extracellular fluid, so it accounts for 92% of ECF osmolarity. Sodium also maintains the internal environment of the body. Sodium is also concerned with resting membrane potential, action potential, and tissue excitability. It is also related with exocrine secretion of the body. This is all for today's lecture. Thank you all.